Doesn't this push Russia into the arms of China or Iran? Is there going to be some kind of military alliance, or do China and Iran, they don't want any part of this? I'm worried about a desperate nuclear power losing a war. That's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, look, I think you were highlighting what most of us now believe, which is that Putin is being backed into a corner. This man knows that if he loses this war, it's his head. Literally, it goes on a stake, and a lot of his regime leaders. So if he gets to the point where he feels like this is not going to go well for him, it's going to end, well, he knows that it's a Saddam Hussein or a Muammar Gaddafi of Iraq and Libya, respectfully, he's done. So that could mean that he will end up using some of the more horrific weapons he has at his disposal, to include nuclear weapons, tactical nukes first, and then something far more horrific. Whether or not China comes to his aid, or countries like India, right now they're doing it via economic trade, buying lots of Russian coal, oil, and natural gas. But whether they provide some of the critical pieces of like the microchips that go into the missiles and some of the more advanced weaponry, that's what I'm looking for. If we see a lot more of that happening, then we know for sure that China and India, even though they might have concerns, with this war, they still want Moscow to win. Most especially China. That's the one that I'm really looking for.
Why would India want Moscow to win?
Well, I think it's a geopolitical calculus for them. They don't want any one nation in the world getting too particularly strong. They want to come to the table as an equal. And so I don't know that they necessarily want Moscow to win, to be victorious ultimately. They just want a multipolar world, not just led by the United States.
Okay, now let's circle back to what you said about, circle back, just like Jen Psaki. Let's circle back to what you said about Russia trying to bite and hold through the winter and freeze Europe out. What do you mean by that? They don't have coats in Europe? What do you mean?
Well, they're going to need more of them, because here's the bottom line. Europe imports a lot of its energy, most especially natural gas, and they use it to heat their homes and to fuel their industries. And what we have seen over the past number of months, Russia's turning off the spigot, so Europe is desperately seeking for more supply. They're getting some, and that's fine. But the problem is, the longer that the winter lasts, the less of this oil and natural gas that they have to use and to burn and to fuel their economies, heat their homes. So what the Russians are thinking is, hey, if we can just hopefully have a hard winter and the Europeans burn through a lot of their fuel, they are going to freeze to death, literally and figuratively. Their economy is going to go belly up. They already are struggling. We're seeing aluminum plants. We are seeing smelters of various kinds shut their doors because they can't afford the natural gas that's dramatically up in price. So that really is what Putin, I think, is aiming for here, sending in these hundreds of thousands of troops, hold the line, freeze out Europe, and let's see where it takes us by next March or so.
Don't miss Jesse Kelly Breaks History, Che Guevara, the latest episode of a new series available now exclusively for First TV supporters. Visit the First TV app or thefirsttv.com to subscribe and start watching today.